For the third time in 4 weeks, the Prowlers take their talent south, and tonight it's a matchup with the Carolina Thunderbirds. Good evening, everyone. My name is Will Wiggleman, here with you from the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, as the Prowlers and the Thunderbirds play their second and final series this season. They split a series up in Port Huron just last month, just in October. That was the Thunderbirds' first games of the year, but the Prowlers took game one, Thunderbirds took game two, and now they'll have two more here in Winston-Salem. And again, this is the last time these two teams will see each other in this regular season. We'll have the whole pregame show coming up for you next on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here in Winston-Salem, Will Wiggleman with you just about 9 minutes from puck drop at the Annex. As we take a look at both teams coming into this one, the Prowlers sit at 6-2, fourth in the Continental Division. Last time out, they snapped a 3-game losing skid against the Binghamton Black Bears with a 5-3 win. Vinny DeCumbis had his first pro goal and an assist. Dalton Jay scored the game winner. Wyatt Hofflin had made 25 saves in the victory, his third of the season. DeCumbis was on a fantastic line along with Sam Merritt and Tucker Scantleberry, all three of them finishing with multi-point efforts in that contest. That was the quarter mark of the season already for the Prowlers. Can you believe it? Game number 14 of 56 was played last Saturday, and we're into the second quarter of the season starting here tonight. Prowlers sitting in a playoff position, but certainly would like to be a little bit higher up in the Continental Division. The team there sitting right behind is the Carolina Thunderbirds at 8-3-1 with 22 points, third place in the Continental Division. Their last game was a 5-3 loss on the road against the Danbury Hat Tricks. They trailed 5-1 through 2 periods of play in that one. Got a couple in the third period, but still fell short against the Danbury Hat Tricks, and that completed a weekend which they did not get a victory. They were in Watertown on Friday for a 5-4 shootout loss, and then on Saturday, the 5-3 loss to the Hat Tricks. Well, both these teams just about getting set for puck drop. We are 7 minutes away from that. And we will have more of the pregame show coming up in just a minute. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Will Wiggleman back here with you at the Annex in Winston-Salem. Thanks so much for joining us on this Friday night for the first game of a 2-game set between the Port Huron Prowlers and the Carolina Thunderbirds. Continuing to look back at last weekend, we look at our player spotlight, and we already talked about Vinny DeCumbis. 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points, his first career FPHL goal. That was the Prowlers' second goal in an 18-second span after Binghamton opened up a 3-1 lead with 2 goals in 20 seconds. The Prowlers said, anything you can do, I can do better. And Vinny DeCumbis, a big catalyst of that. He assisted on the first goal of that short stint where, again, 2 goals in 18 seconds. Well, let's take a look at the lineup tonight for the Port Huron Prowlers, looking very similar to the lineup that they had in their win over the Binghamton Black Bears. The only difference is that they're only running with 6 defensemen tonight instead of 7. Dan Chartrand pencils back in as the extra forward. Gino Mini not here this weekend in Carolina, so he is the defenseman that is missing. The Vartiainen, Foley, Devaney line will get the starting look for head coach Matt Graham, while Alex Johnson and Austin Federley will be the defense pair. Wyatt Hofflin back in goal for the 3rd straight game. He played both games against Binghamton last weekend at McMorran Place. Well, the last time these two teams met, Joe Devaney did this in the Friday night game, but then Lucas Rowe did the Michigan one night later. Who will have the filthy hands tonight? We'll find out coming up soon. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Referees taking the ice here in Winston-Salem. Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Thanks for joining us tonight as the Prowlers visit the Carolina Thunderbirds. Well, you've heard about both teams so far as they get set to hit the ice in just a minute or two. We're 3.5 minutes from the puck dropping here at the Annex in Winston-Salem. Well, these two teams, they did play in October. That was the second weekend for the Prowlers. The first weekend for the Carolina Thunderbirds. Prowlers took the first game of that set by a score of 4-3, excuse me. But then the Thunderbirds came back the next night. They took a 4-3 overtime victory. So the Prowlers did get 4 out of 6 possible points in that weekend, but still ended up splitting in the win column. Prowlers taking the ice now as we get set for the pregame festivities. And we will take you down to ice level for that. But first, we just want to give a big thank you to the crew here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex for the use of the cameras that they have here. So we appreciate them for that. We'll take you down to ice level for the pregame festivities and the anthem. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. anthem done. We're just moments away from puck drop. Amongst the starters, as you heard for the Carolina Thunderbirds, Yuri Pastuka. He is one of 3 Czechs on this Carolina Thunderbirds roster. You add Adam Hainsel for the Port Huron Prowlers, and you have 4 of the 5 Czechs currently on a roster in the FPHL. The other, Jacob Wolf with the Elmira Mammoth. As they do the ceremonial puck drop, we will give you the goaltending matchup tonight. It's going to be Wyatt Hofflin again for the Prowlers against Mario Cavalieri. Hofflin not on the team yet for the Prowlers when these two teams last matched up. 3-2 with an 3.21 goals against average and an .890 save percentage. Made 25 saves in his last game against Binghamton, 50 saves over the weekend. He played both games. Cavalieri played both games when these two teams last faced each other back in October in Port Huron. 8 goals against on 76 shots in those 2 games. He comes in with a 4-2-1 record with a 3.39 goals against average and an .896 save percentage. Peavy and Foley get set to draw at center, and we are underway from Winston-Salem. Thanks for joining us on this Friday night. Keplinger into the zone, taken away by Alex Johnson. Now quick battle, 3-on-3 in the Prowlers' end. Johnson takes Keplinger in behind the net, and he backhands it up this side, and now Joe Devaney heads out to Vartiainen. He dumps it in. Larry with a goal in the Prowlers' last game. Worked to the point federally, wrist shot steered aside by Cavalieri. Devaney looking for a goal. He has it in the corner. Foley tried to rip it in front. It heads back out to center where Johnson collects. Deflected in by Devaney as he heads off for a change. Sitting on a 4-game goal drought. Was the Prowlers leader in goals for much of this season, but has since been taken over by Dalton Jay. Devaney sits at 8, Jay with 9. Quick shot towards the net, deflected, and Hofflin paddled it away from an oncoming Thunderbird. Joe Kennedy kept it in, freshly back out of the SPHL. That's where he started his season with Knoxville. Played 4 games there. Is now in game number 5 with the Thunderbirds. Already has 4 assists. The Seattle native. Backhanded it down low, and now DeCumbus gets it out. But the Thunderbirds go right back in, heading off the boards towards Scantlebury. Now DeCumbus with speed through center, wrist shot off of Cavalieri's stick and out of play, and we have our first stoppage of the game with 18:08 to go in the first period. Prowlers sending on the Graham line. They'll go against this line consisting of Lucas Rowe. He's out there with Panicek and Schnapp. Peter Panicek, 6 points in all 6 of his appearances so far this season. He's averaging over 2 points per game at 13. Rowe tried to feed it over towards Schnapp. It's deflected into the Prowlers' end. Williams gets there ahead of Schnapp and took a hit, but rims it up the boards to Freeboard. Now Graham starts the breakout. Here's Jay into the zone. Stops up, tried to feed it back to the point, but that got past Parsons. Panicek chasing down Williams. Williams absorbs a hit and now feeds up towards Jay. Grebenikov kept it in at the point. Now comes out. Here's Freeboard 2-on-1 with Graham. And Liam Freeborn couldn't get it over. Graham finds the puck in the slot, tried to turn it on. Grebenikov got there to block it. 3-on-2 for the Thunderbirds if they hurry. It's dropped off to Panicek. He finds the trailer, wrist shot, and eaten up by Hofflin. That came off of the stick of Danny Martin. 17:12 to go, first period. No score yet between the Prowlers and the Thunderbirds here in Carolina. Gus Ford stepping to take the draw. He's tied with Parker Moskal of Elmira and his teammate John Butita for the most assists in the FPHL. We have a little bit of a stanchion issue at the benches, so that's why the whistles were blown. Face off one. And wrist shot by Martin, save made by Hofflin. Apologize for the camera. We are using the cameras from the Thunderbirds crew here, and they're working on getting their stream fixed. But now getting the cameras going. Again, we do appreciate them for letting us use their cameras. As Prowlers ice the puck, so faceoff will be deep in their territory again. Ford and Foley to draw. Pringle feeds back to the point, but it's taken by Vartiainen. He chips it around Kennedy and goes and gets it himself. Cavalieri steers it away from him. Pringle knocked down by Vartiainen. Devaney takes the puck, turns up ice, lost the handle for a second, and now he enters the Carolina zone to the backhand. Tried to put it in front. It's batted away by Oakes all the way down to Prowler territory. Icing waved off, so Hofflin plays it to Federley as both teams make changes. Here's Johnson. Up to Devaney. Trying to find Scantlebury into the zone. Puck pinballs around and back out to center. Adam Hainsel, goal in his last game on Saturday against Binghamton. Scantlebury touched that puck a little bit too quick before he was out of the zone, so offside is the call. With 16:03 to go, first period. Merritt, DeCumbus, and Scantlebury out there. The most dangerous line against Binghamton last Saturday for the Prowlers. As it's rimmed in. Keplinger puts it back to the point. Shot by Pastuca. And Hofflin got a piece of that as it goes wide. Butita knocked down by DeCumbus. Scantlebury out of the zone. Tried to find DeCumbus streaking in. Instead, it's dumped deep. Comes to Pastuca. Turned it over to Scantlebury. But Thunderbirds still able to get it out. DeCumbus comes to Dustin Henning. He wristed it on Cavalieri, who sends it over to the far boards. Taken out by Peavy. Prowler's able to keep it in. Henning puts it deep. Scantlebury has two Thunderbirds on him. And Carolina, this time, able to clear the zone. Keplinger couldn't get past Henning at the red line. Scantlebury gets by his man. Puts a shot on, and Cavalieri makes the save as Tucker Scantlebury is dumped. We are 5:01 into period one, and there's still no score between the Port Huron Prowlers and the Carolina Thunderbirds. Well, let's take a look at the offensive thunder that these Carolina Thunderbirds have. Gus Ford, Dawson Baker, and John Butita, some of the most lethal weapons in the FPHL this season. Ford and Butita tied for the league lead in assists with 19 apiece, while Dawson Baker leads the Thunderbirds with 10 goals. And Gus Ford's 28 points good for second in the FPHL this year. Back here in Winston-Salem, Prowlers with an offensive zone faceoff. Shots on goal, 4-2 in favor of the Thunderbirds so far in this one. As Ford and Graham get set to draw, Gus Ford wins it away. Parsons saw that puck go through him. Hofflin playing it away from Baker, but it goes straight to Salak on the boards. Jan Salak lost the handle, and now comes to Freeborn. Tried to feed Jay. That only got as far as Kennedy at center. Thunderbirds trying to turn a counterattack. Here's Ford with a wrist shot. Big save by Hofflin. Down low to Ford. Tried to feed it across, too far ahead of Kennedy, but he'll keep the pressure on. Salak taking some pressure from Greb and Parsons. Gets the Ford one-time shot from Baker. Didn't get all of that. Grebenikov down the boards. Now Salak up top to Baker. Now Ford. All the way across to Kennedy. He risks one right into the glove of Wyatt Hofflin, and he'll hold on. 14:07 to go, first period. Still no score. Foley getting set to draw with Peter Panicek. Comes to Foley, and he goes near side, Devaney. Wrists it off the corner board, straight to Evan Foley. Comes to the point, Federley. Played it down low to Devaney. High shot, knocked down by Cavalieri. Comes towards the point, Federley spins away from a hit from Schnapp. And Devaney tried to feed it across towards Vartiainen. Cavalieri cut it off. Here's Schnapp. Drops it for Rowe. Lucas Rowe to the backhand. Missed it high and wide. Grebenikov tried to keep it in. Instead it gets through him. Firth hassled by Devaney. Tucker Firth able to take control and start a breakout. 4-game assist streak snapped on Friday against Watertown for Tucker Firth. Here's Rowe. Martin knocked down at center, but he still has the puck. Lots of Prowlers back, but the Thunderbirds are offside anyway with 13:03 to go in the first period. So another offsides call, another neutral zone draw. And it's Baker sliding in, had a 4-game goal streak snapped in his last game, but still tied for 5th in the FPHL with Danbury's Dustin Giseau and Motor City's Scott Koch, who recently got called up to the SPHL. The Rockers playing their first games without him this weekend. They're facing the Delaware Thunder at home. Martin flips it in. Hofflin takes it off the one hop, and he'll hold on. 12:55 to go, first period. Shots on goal, 7-4 in favor of the Thunderbirds. Still no score yet in this one. We will warn you, though, that with the Thunderbirds do scores, Baker's shot, shouldered away by Hofflin. Now puck loose in front, and Hennig poked that away from an oncoming Baker. Hofflin had no idea where that puck was. Here comes DeCumbus, 1-on-2. Cavalieri steers it to the corner. Scantlebury to the point. Hainzel, a wrist shot, missed it wide. Hennig pinches in. And almost turned over in the slot there. Thunderbirds able to get it up. Baker puts a hit on Hennig. Pringle tried to send it across. Merritt coming back, broke up that play. Martin down low. Hainzel takes Pringle into the boards. Baker in there as well. And he's able to get it out to Martin. Back to Baker. Near side Firth, quickly to Grebenikov, and his pass went off of Baker's skate. Here's Tucker Scantlebury on a breakaway. Missed it wide. High and wide, Tucker Scantlebury looking for that top corner. Thunderbirds the other way. Batita pokes it up. Quick shot, they score. Blake Peavy the other way. Here come the Teddy Bears. It's Teddy Bear toss night here in Carolina. And Blake Peavy opens the scoring. It's 1-0 with 11:49 to go in the first period. So Tucker Scantlebury tried on one end. He missed the breakaway shot high and wide. And now the Teddy Bear toss ensues as Blake Peavy found himself all alone. He beat Wyatt Hofflin. As the Thunderbirds, for a good cause, tossing these teddy bears out. They'll be donated. But it will take a little bit to clean up here. But we will tell you that that is Blake Peavy's 5th goal of the season. He had 14 all of last year in 56 games with the Thunderbirds, originally acquired from the Elmira Enforcers dispersal draft before last season, out of Finlandia University. We still have some stragglers getting their teddy bears over the glass. Thunderbirds players trying to help out. And now Graham and Schnapp at center ice having a discussion. Brian Parsons coming out to continue the words with Schnapp as Graham is steered away by a linesman. So even while the teddy bears are being picked up, we still have a little bit more action. So we continue to pick up the teddy bears here. This is another opportunity to thank our friends here in the Carolina Thunderbirds broadcast booth for the use of their cameras. So they are the ones doing all the camera work tonight and tomorrow for us, and we appreciate their help this weekend. As the cleanup continues, we will take a quick break. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here in Winston-Salem, the Thunderbirds just took a 1-0 lead on the Port Huron Prowlers with 11:49 to go in the first period. This is Teddy Bear Toss Night in Carolina, so we continue the cleanup from that. And that's the only thing we're waiting on so we can get this game continuing underway. We did see some words in front of the benches between Matt Graham and Jacob Schnapp, and then Brian Parsons came out onto the ice to continue the words with Schnapp after linesman Kenny Malik steered Graham away from the discussion. With both teams just hanging out by the benches until they can get everything cleaned up here. Looks like just 1 or 2 more piles of stuffed animals on the ice. It was, if you're just joining us, it was Blake Peavy's 5th of the year from John Butita after Tucker Scantlebury missed a breakaway chance high and wide. Thunderbirds on the counterattack. Butita got the one-hand pass over to Peavy, and he walked in by himself and beat Wyatt Hofflin. That is the first goal of the game. Looks like all of the stuffed animals have been picked up, and the off-ice crew can head off the ice, and we will be just about set to get hockey back underway here at the Winston-Salem Annex, but this break might be a good one. Might have been a good one for the Port Huron Prowlers. We're being outshot already 9-4 and have had a lot of time in their own zone. The Thunderbirds with a couple of good shifts with a lot of good cycling around and finding some good opportunities. And that was just the best one so far for Blake Peavy, and he buried it. So the Graham line out there for the Prowlers against the Butita line. That's Graham, Freeborn, and Jay against Butita, Peavy, and Keplinger. As the faceoff's won back, here's Parsons. Wrists it in on Cavalieri. He steers it to the corner. Graham behind the net. Keplinger took it away. Reverses this side. Here's Firth with some speed. Put it right into Freeborn. So Liam Freeborn tried to feed Jay heading into the zone. Now the puck's in the Thunderbirds end. Cavalieri out to play it. Graham was there challenging. Now Firth. Butita one touches it to Keplinger. He slows up, finds Peavy looking for his second goal tonight. Drops it for Kennedy. Hofflin had that stick to him, and he holds on as he looked around for it. But he's got it with 11:04 to go in the first period. Prowlers bringing out the Foley line. Federley takes that off defensive zone draw. Now it comes up to Devaney. Up to Vartiainen. Wrist shot goes to the boards. Federley at the point. Takes it and steered away by Cavalieri. Here's Vartiainen. Tried to feed down low. Said Ford able to get it out. Thunderbirds have numbers. Here's Baker with a shot. Saved by Hofflin. The rebound kicked around. And Salak recovers it for the Thunderbirds. Baker to Ford. Tried to one-touch it over. It was behind Pastuka pinching in from the point. Comes back to Yuri Pastuka on the far boards. Grebenikov steps, feeds over to Baker. One touch over to Ford. Foley did all he could to keep Gus Ford from having a good chance, and then Vartiainen poked it off of Baker's stick in the slot. Federley just trying to get it forward to Vartiainen. He does. Grebenikov stops it up in front of the Prowlers bench. Comes to Vartiainen again. Puck in his feet. Grebenikov trying to poke it back to Prowler ice. Sent up towards Devaney, and he'll head in by himself. Puts it off the side of the cage. Takes a hit from Grebenikov as the Prowlers were changing. Turning away from pressure is Cody Oakes. He moved it up the wing. Ford touched it in, so icing waved off. Heading slows things down as the Thunderbirds change all five. Scantleberry into the zone, tried to get back to his forehand, couldn't do it. Now Firth. Moving up ice to Kennedy. 3-on-2 for the Thunderbirds. Goes back to Kennedy, he deflected it just wide. Merritt taps it around towards Hainsel. Now Adam Hainsel slows things down. D to Henning. He moves up to Scantleberry. Tucker Scantleberry with DeCumbus. As that puck goes deep, they both go off. They made their FPHL debuts the last time these two teams met on that Friday. And it was Tucker Scantleberry getting the game-winning goal in that game. Freeborn taps it past a couple of Thunderbirds. Prowlers off to the races. Comes to Jay and a glove save by Mario Cavalieri. He flashes the leather on Dalton Jay with 8:27 to go in the first period. We will take a timeout. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Back here in Winston-Salem, Prowlers trailing the Carolina Thunderbirds 1-0 in this first period. Will Wiggleman with you on the Prowlers YouTube page. See Justin Pringle set out there, number 7 for the Thunderbirds for this faceoff. No points last weekend. That snapped a 7-game point streak for him. A former Kingston Frontenac, where he was teammates with Dawson Baker, the Thunderbirds' current goals leader. Freeborn couldn't keep that puck, but Parsons takes it from Grebennikov. And now Graham into the zone, stops up, tried to feed it down low. Cavalieri blocked it. Freeborn in front. Didn't get that one all the way through. Parsons over to Sam Williams. Graham reverses down low towards Jay. He takes Baker, and now Graham trying to rush the side of the net. Cavalieri had the pad down, and he'll hold on with 7:51 to go in the period. Both teams making full changes ahead of this offensive zone draw. Larry Vartian, the Prowlers assist leader, out there on left wing. Comes to Keplinger. Now Butita has PV breaking. Couldn't get it over to him as that puck wouldn't slide over, and now that puck lifted over the glass. It went off of the glass and out of play. So no penalty coming to Austin Federley, but it will be a defensive zone draw for the Prowlers. PV set to draw with Foley. Evan Foley wins it cleanly back. Johnson reverses to Federley. Now up to Foley. Pass was behind Vartiainen. Oakes turning away from Larry Vartiainen. He gets it back to center. Poke to Federley. Vartiainen takes the tip pass from Foley. Prowlers still can't gain the line. Now Butita turns the other way. Has Keplinger with him. 4 Prowlers back. Butita drops it off to Peavy. Turns back to the point to Grebennikov. Peavy again. Wrist shot. Didn't get all the way there. Foley taken into the wall by Butita. Puck comes out to center, where Devaney moves in. He stops up, wrists it deep, and goes off for a change. Cavalieri plays it to Grebennikov. Merritt taken into the wall by Grebennikov. Turnover in the slot to Cumbus' shot blocked, and Merritt couldn't get his stick on the rebound. Butita gloves it down at center, one-on-one with Hainzel. John Butita runs out of space. Tried to feed forward, heading towards the goal. Instead, it comes to Kennedy. Nice moves from Joe Kennedy. Now he's going to challenge the net. Hoffman with a good poke. Just forward at the top. Wrist shot blocked by Heading. He'll try and start a rush the other way. Gets it to DeCumbus. Vinny DeCumbus with a shot saved by Cavalieri. And he'll hold on with 6:01 to go in the period. So the Prowlers getting a few more opportunities off the rush in this first period. DeCumbus, Scantleberry, and Merritt with a couple of good looks on that last shift. If you missed our pregame show or any of last weekend or last game for the Prowlers on Saturday, quick shot, they score! Liam Freeborn off the draw beats Cavalieri. It's his first in the FPHL, and the Prowlers have tied it up. Bang, bang, off the draw. Puck came straight to Liam Freeborn, lined up on the inside. And that puck looked like it hit off of Cavalieri's glove. It's the first goal in Liam Freeborn's FPHL career after picking up his first point last weekend against Binghamton. Freeborn looking for more, but it's poked away from him by Oakes. Now Thunderbirds the other way. Chip pass comes towards Rowe. Graham keeps it away from him. Jay trying to move it up the boards. It's to Sam Williams jumping into the play. Taken away by Oakes. Graham kept it deep. Panicek rims it around. Now Rowe, taken by Freeborn. Back to the defensive zone to Parsons. Williams tried to feed it up towards Jay. Icing waved off by the near side linesman. Now Schnapp. He absorbed a hit, now takes the puck. Hofflin with a nice save, stacking the pads, kicked the left one up, and made a save on Jacob Schnapp down low. A chaotic turn of events there. Schnapp knocked down a Prowler who tried to put a hit on him, then found the puck, and Wyatt Hofflin with the old school pad stack made the save. Here's Firth, retreating into his own end, 4:45 to go, turned it over. Vartiainen with a shot off the stick of Firth and out of play with 4:38 on the clock here in the first period. Liam Freeborn's first in his FPHL career has tied the game for the Prowlers. We'll be right back. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here in Winston-Salem, in the third of 4 meetings between these two teams this season. The fourth will be tomorrow, and then they'll be done with each other here in early December. These two Continental Division rivals will not see each other again in this regular season. But still, 40-plus minutes away from the end of this game. And of course, once again, game tomorrow. Down deep, Devaney had it taken away by Ford. Starting the rush the other way. Here's Salak, tried to return feed to Ford. Blocked by Johnson. Now Ford in the corner. Johnson battling for that puck behind the cage. Salak and Foley in there as well as Gus Ford. Comes up to Devaney. Tried the feed over to Vartiainen. That was tipped away by Kennedy into his own bench. And out of play, 4:02 to go in the first period. Face-off will come back to center. It will be at the center ice logo for Merritt and Panicek. Pastuka goes over D to Oaks. Back all the way across to Panicek. Winds and fires, and Hofflin has that. And he holds on with 3:49 to go in the first period. So an offensive zone draw coming for the Carolina Thunderbirds. Panicek wins it back. Pastuka, wrist shot. That one went wide. I'm not sure if Hofflin got a piece of it. Played down deep. Hansel tried to poke it away from Rowe. Here's Schnapp feeding it in front. Rowe couldn't get a shot away. Now Scantleberry starts a rush. Tucker Scantleberry tried to work off of Oaks. Puck taken away from him. And now Pastuka up to Panicek. Too far ahead of Rowe. He and Hansel get there together. Adam Hansel sidesteps a hit. Now Scantleberry turns back, slows things down. Goes D to Dustin Henning as the Prowlers change. Cavallari leaves it off for Kennedy. Keplinger deflected in by Rowe at the Prowlers' blue line. Hofflin has PV coming, moves it over to Williams. Up to Freeborn, the latest goal scorer in this game. Cavallari behind the net, over to Kennedy. Off the boards to Keplinger, and now Peavy sends it in with 2:37 to go first period. Hofflin aggressively out of his net, gets there ahead of Petita, and he helps start a breakout for the Prowlers. Graham chops it in. Cavalieri plays it back to this side. Graham to the point. Parsons a wrist shot. Jay on the other end of that deflection. Couldn't put it on net. Petita over to Keplinger at center. Gets in. Feeds it back. Shot by Petita and a save by Hofflin. On the Thunderbirds captain, here's Jay. Couldn't control that bouncing puck. And he backhands it wide. He would have had a breakaway if that puck sat down for him. Wristed up to Keplinger at the Prowlers' blue line. Vartiainen kept him from cutting to the middle. And sent to center ice again. Minute 41 to go. First period. A 1-1 score here at the Annex. Vetterli poked it back to center. Vartiainen finds Devaney on the right wing side. Joe Devaney with a shot. Blocked. He sent it towards the slot where Foley was. But instead it's Pringle on the puck. Johnson tried to play it back. Instead, here comes Firth. He backhands it around the Prowlers' net. Panicek on it. Now Pringle tried to center. Blocked by Johnson. Puck does come out in front. Now Firth at the point. Wrist shot goes wide. Devaney off the boards and out as we hit the final minute of play in the first period. Martin brings it back in. Tried to send it in front. Rebound backhanded out by Johnson. I'm not sure if that got to Hofflin or not. Goes back to Grebenikov in his own end. Panicek, wrist shot off of Johnson's stick and out of play with 38 seconds left to go. Thunderbirds all over the Prowlers the last minute or two in that shift. Trying to get the lead back after Liam Freeborn tied it. Hainzel around to Scantleberry. Off the near side boards. It's tipped forward by Merritt. He deflects it in. Baker drops it back to Pastuca. In Salak's skates. Now Kennedy able to move up ice. Kennedy tried to feed down low towards Baker. 12 seconds left on the clock. Baker with some space. Dawson Baker with a nice move. Saved by Hofflin. Baker was already celebrating. Time will expire here in the first period. Well, it's an entertaining one. Thunderbirds and the Prowlers with some good opportunities. One up on the board each. And that's where we stand after one. Shots on goal in that period, 14 for the Thunderbirds, 10 for the Prowlers. And of course, that 1-1 score. As both teams head off the ice after 20 minutes of play. Well, get your holiday gift shopping started at the Prowlers official team store located on the west end of McMorran Arena. The team store is open all season long, featuring t-shirts, sweatshirts, koozies, socks, and more. Youth hoodies and mini sticks are also back in stock. Rep your team in style with gear from the Prowlers team store. We're through one period of play. First intermission underway. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. First intermission underway here from the Fairgrounds Annex in Winston-Salem. Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. And after one period of play, the Prowlers and the Thunderbirds are tied at 1 game apiece. Well, if you missed last weekend, the Prowlers faced the Binghamton Black Bears, and they split that series. It was a fun one. We had some milestone goals. Goal number 1 in a career and goal number 200 in a career. And in case you missed any of that, here are the highlights. That went off the stick of Kirkby. Federley. Wrist shot, save, they score! It leaks through Shepard. It's a power play goal for the Prowlers. They're on the board. Sam Williams trying to start a rush the other way now. Back and forth action in this 4-on-4. Merritt across to Jay. Wrist shot, he scores! Dalton Jay picks the corner. Prowlers within 1. Jay to DeCumbus at the top. Back to Jay. Wrist shot, he scores! Goal number 200 in the FPHL career of Dalton Jay. It pulls the Prowlers within 1. It's a 4-3 game. And Ivashkin thought about getting it out. Now turned over, here's Foley to Vartiainen, he scores! Larry Vartiainen won't have them much easier than that. What a play by Evan Foley. And exactly a minute into period 2, the Prowlers have tied things up. Merritt and Kirkby to draw. Schultz has it chipped past him, 2-on-1. DeCumbus with Scantleberry. Over, they score! Great pass by Vinny DeCumbus, and Tucker Scantleberry makes no mistake. The Prowlers are back within 1. And we have a lot of goals early in this second period. Already 4, and it's not even 8 minutes old. Prowlers looking for more. In front to Cumbus. He scores! First in the FPHL for Vinny DeCumbus. We're tied! Now Johnson walks to the middle of the ice. Retreats. Wrist shot, save. Rebound Federley to the back door. What a pass by Austin Federley, and Dalton Jay finishes. Prowlers lead 4-3 with 8:39 to go in the third. Comes to Scantleberry, wrist shot, and a good save by Liskowitz. He got the knob of the stick on it. That would score! Hazel with a wrist shot from the point. Liskowitz never saw it. Beat him 5-hole on the ice, and the Prowlers have a 5-3 lead. Those are your highlights from the Prowlers last weekend against the Binghamton Black Bears. We're about 7 minutes away from puck drop in the second period, and we'll have it for you here, right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron.
Back here at the Annex in Winston-Salem, first intermission continues. And before we head back into that first period, let's take a look around the FPHL. There's 4 other games tonight in the league. We start in Columbus, where the Continental Division leading River Dragons host the Empire Division leading Danbury Hat-Tricks. And right now, early on second period, it's a 1-0 Danbury lead. Brendan Dowler with the goal back in the first period. Motor City Rockers and Delaware Thunder battling it out in Fraser, Michigan. That one tied at 1. Alex Susi, the goal for Delaware. Dylan Johnson, the tally for the Rockers. We move to upstate New York, where the Elmira Mammoth are hosting the Mississippi Seawolves, and it's the Mammoth up right now 1-0. Former Port Huron Prowler Ian Wallace, traded earlier this week, is starting for the Seawolves. He's made 8 saves on 9 shots through 1 period of play. Another Prowler who was traded this week, Dakota Omer, also in the lineup for the Seawolves tonight. And finally, the Watertown Wolves visiting the Binghamton Black Bears. This one's been a barn burner so far as we play late into the second period. 3-2 right now the score. Of course, there's the storyline of Justin Coachman, the former coach of the Watertown Wolves, who was fired this past week and then signed on as a player for the Binghamton Black Bears. But I'm checking their roster right now. He is not listed as playing tonight in this game. But that was the big drama this week. But again, Justin Coachman not in the lineup, according to the Federal Prospects Hockey League website. And of course here, it is a 1-1 score between the Port Huron Prowlers and the Carolina Thunderbirds. Shots on goal in that first period, 9-4. Shots on goal that first period, 14-10 in favor of the Thunderbirds. Blake Peavy got the scoring started, 8-11 in, taking a pass from John Batista on the rush. Justin Pringle also picking up an assist on that tally. And that brought the Teddy Bears down from the stands on Teddy Bear Toss Night here in Winston-Salem. And it gave the Thunderbirds a 1-0 lead. But just a few minutes later, Liam Freeborn, right off the face-off, Matt Graham won it to him. Graham picks up an assist on the goal, won it straight to him. Freeborn lined up in the slot, and he took the shot, and that went off of Cavalieri's glove, bounced into the net, and that's his first in the FPHL. That tied things up with just under 6 minutes to play in that opening frame, and that's where we stand now as both teams get set to come out for second period action here from the NX at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds. It's been a good one so far between these two teams, as the Prowlers and Thunderbirds get set to come back out. Wyatt Hofflin skates over to the cage to our right. Mario Cavalieri getting stretched out in the net to our left, as both teams set for second period action. It was an entertaining first period, to say the least. Both teams with some prime opportunities. Hofflin and Cavalieri had to come up with some big saves at both ends of the ice. That's why it is only a 1-1 game as we get set for the middle frame. No penalties to tell you about in that first period, as both teams keeping it very, very clean. No one having to head to the sin bin, as the fans get loud here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. And they're just going to kill the clock early and start the second. And it's underway. Keplinger first into the Prowlers' end. He drops it to Pastuca at the line. Tried to feed down deep. It comes to Petita. And now Pastuca walks down the wall. Tried to feed it backdoor. Keplinger deflected it just wide. Batita with another shot. That one missed. And now Devaney almost gave it away to Keplinger. Comes to the point, Grebenikov, wrist shot, knocked down in front. Johnson lifts Batita's stick and gets out to Vartiainen. Foley took PV's stick with him as he was going in on the forecheck. Puts a hit on Grebenikov. Now Devaney in the corner. Flits back out to center. Hainzel hustling after it, but the Thunderbirds in the midst of a change. Hainzel slows things down. And now it's sent back into Prowlers territory. Henning rims it around, kicks out to DeCumbus. Got past Merritt. And now Kennedy trying to turn back. Ford in his own end. His pass across to Firth was behind him. Return to Gus Ford. He dances his way through center. DeCumbus took it neatly off his stick and starts the other way. Over to Scantlebury. Steps by his man. Tried to feed DeCumbus. Passes in his skates. He tried to put it back in front, but Merritt couldn't pull it down. And now it's a 3-on-2 for Carolina the other way. Ford cuts to the middle. Shoots. Missed it wide. All the way back out to the top. Here's Ford at the point. Salak takes the shot, stopped by Hofflin. And off the boards, Scantlebury flips it high and out all the way into Thunderbird territory. Kennedy gets there a step ahead of Merritt. Scantlebury first on the puck in the near side corner. Kennedy pushes it through him, and now Baker over to Firth. Prowlers complete the forward change as Jay blocks away that headman feed. Here's Freeborn into the zone. Feeds it over to Williams. He swung and missed. Now Jay in the corner. In front, Freeborn! He thought he scored. Referee waved it off. I think Cavalieri may have gotten a piece of that one. If it did go in, it went in and out very quickly. Now Williams. Taken away by Ford. Now Gus Ford. Played it into Freeborn, gives to Jay, over to Graham, saved by Cavalieri, and the rebound cleared high as far as the line. Parsons kept it in, rises that one high over top, and now Jay, a quick shot, saved by Cavalieri. Great shift for this line for the Prowlers. 3-on-2 scrum, Thunderbirds with 3, and Rowe took it out of there. Johnson pinched in to keep it deep. Graham feeds it in front. Freeborn gets it to the forehand. And Cavalieri may have gotten a piece of that shot as well. 16:35 to go. Second period. Here come the Thunderbirds. Worked over to Baker. Tried to feed Ford heading towards the net. That was broken up. Now Freeborn had it go through him. Oakes. D to Grebenikov. And now Rowe slows up at the line. Tried to feed it to Grebenikov. Foley, fresh off the bench, stepped in front of that pass. Now Grebenikov over the line. He's stopped up by Parsons. Both of them head to the ice after he dumped that puck. And now Vartiainen off his stick. Oakes tried to play it back to center. This time the Thunderbirds get it there. 2-on-1 if they hurry, but Devaney pressuring Rowe, and his pass across not where it needed to be. Here's Devaney the other way. Vartiainen, power move to the net. Pastuca poked the puck away. Devaney cycles down towards Foley. And now it's fed around near side. 15:31 to go in the second period. Great opportunities for both sides so far as here's Oakes. Whiffed on the shot. And now Federley moves it up to Devaney. Comes to Johnson through center. Alex Johnson with a wrist shot. And Cavalieri the save. Johnson right in there searching for the rebound. Pastuca will have a word with him as Cavalieri holds on with 15:11 to go. Second period. A heck of a start there to this frame already. Great opportunities on both sides. Liam Freeborn thought he had his second goal of the game, but the referees say no goals as that puck never crossed the goal line. And of course, we'll never know. We don't have that kind of technology here. Hainsel bounces it back to center off the boards. Scantlebury and Baker battle for it, squirts free, and into Thunderbird territory. Poke to Firth, and now Kennedy. Taken away by Scantlebury at center. Pull-up move, tried to feed Merritt heading towards the net off his stick. Pringle takes a hit from Sam Merritt. Now Firth. His pass hit Scantlebury's stick, but still made it to its intended target. That's Joe Kennedy. 14.5 to go, second period. Here's Kennedy working up ice. Dancing through a few Prowlers. Kennedy a shot. And that one went high. Hainsel touches the puck. And the Prowlers will be shorthanded. First penalty of the game goes to Port Huron. And they have Tucker Scantlebury for a slash. And it will be a Thunderbirds power play when we return. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Carolina power play coming up as Tucker Scantlebury sits 2 minutes in the box for slashing. We'll see the 7th ranked power play in the FPHL at 18.8% go up against the 6th ranked penalty kill for the Prowlers. 79.6% for Port Huron this season on the PK. Quick shot, they score! Great puck movement from Ford at the point, Petita down low, and Jacob Schnapp finishes it in the slot. That took 4 seconds, and the Thunderbirds have taken the lead. It's 2-1. So quick work on the power play for Carolina. I barely had time to give you the stats on the power plays and penalty kills before that puck was in the back of the net. And for Jacob Schnapp, it's his 2nd power play goal of the year, 3rd overall. And the Prowlers are falling behind again. Petita's pass deflected forward, comes back into Carolina territory. Here's Pastuca. Stuka poked off his stick by Graham right to Cavalieri, and he'll hold on through a swipe from Freeborn. Pastuca wants a piece of Liam Freeborn. The linesman will separate them. Prowlers will have an offensive zone draw with the Graham line out there. The power play goal for Carolina, their 12th, or their 13th, excuse me, of the year. As that faceoff comes straight to Cavalieri, and he covers up. 13:46 to go, second period of a 1-goal hockey game. Faceoff won back by the Prowlers. Williams keeps it away from Butita. Now Graham cycles it towards Freeborn behind the net. Sam Williams in deep with the puck. Locked in his feet. Now he sends over to Freeborn. Tried to center. Comes all the way to the point. Parsons a shot. That got all the way through. Don't know if it hit the net or not. But here's Butita. Has Keplinger with him. Stops up, drops to the trailer Grebenikov. But a back-checking Graham able to take it away from him. Matt Graham blew a tire on the near boards. He's slow to get up. But the puck comes right to him. He sends Dalton Jay on his way. Jay taken into the boards by Kennedy. Puts a shot on, and Cavalieri makes the save and holds on with 12:57 to go in the second period. Shots now 19-18 in favor of the Prowlers. 9-3 Port Huron in this second period, but the only goal of the frame belongs to the Thunderbirds. Foley drawing in with Panicek. Kennedy works it around towards Rowe. Federley couldn't get down and keep it in the zone. Luckily for the Prowlers, that puck kept bouncing around. So the Thunderbirds have to regroup. Kennedy up towards Schnapp. Lost his stick, making a hit on Foley. Here is Evan Foley with it. Now Schnapp and Devaney come together away from the puck. Rowe moves in with it to the Prowlers' end. Lucas Rowe, stick handles, trying to get towards the slot, but he lost the handle. Comes up to Johnson, backhand towards Vartiainen. He one-hands it forward, but it goes off of first stick and out of play with 12:17 to go in the second. So keep that face-off deep in Thunderbird territory after the puck goes out of play. Merritt and Peavy to draw. Peavy had the opening goal of this game that sent the Teddy Bears flying. Tecumseh play it towards the boards. Got it himself, but it's taken away from him. And here's Martin. Martin across. One-time blast from Kennedy. Hofflin had plenty of time to get over there on that slow pass. Peavy tried to feed Martin, instead only found Tecumseh. Prowlers move up the other way. Scantlebury, nice move, has Merritt going to net, takes the shot off of Kennedy's foot as he was sliding to block it. And out of play. What a move by Tucker Scantlebury. But he couldn't complete the play as Joe Kennedy made a kick save on that shot. Scantlebury having a word with the linesman about something. Not sure what. As Merritt wins that puck back to Hansel. Tecumseh to Scantlebury, back to Tecumseh. He puts it deep. Ford overskated the puck, but sidestepped the hit from Merritt. That almost got the puck lodged in the referee's skates. Finally comes to center. Here's Salak. Jan Salak, power move to the net. Couldn't pull the trigger with Hofflin down and out. Now Salak trying to feed in front. Hofflin scrambles back to his feet. Graham gets the red line, gets it in. Cavalieri quickly over to the near side. Baker pushed it further. Boy, Salak had the entire net and then some with Hofflin down and out, but just couldn't pull the trigger. Now Williams feeds it in front, and Graham couldn't get a stick on it. Graham taken in by Baker on the boards. Hansel pinched in. Now lead pass out to Ford. Working on Parsons. Gus Ford turns away from Brian Parsons, waiting for help, and he'll cycle it down to Salak. Freeborn on him. Jan Salak, a big body. Pastuca feeds it across, comes back to Salak, poked off his stick by Parsons. Puck still loose in the Prowlers' end. Poke towards the boards. Ford all the way across to Kennedy, just hopped over his stick. Joe Kennedy worked down to Baker. Salak behind the net. Comes out in front. And Jay recovers it for the Prowlers. 10:04 to go, second period. Graham gets it in only as far as Kennedy. Pastuca trying to feed it out. Said turned over to Jay, but Kennedy took it right off his stick. Kennedy pulls up, turns it over. Devaney, a quick shot save. Rebound Foley. He scores! Evan Foley beats Cavalieri on the rebound, and the Prowlers have tied it up. Joe Devaney stepped in front of the breakout pass. Got the quick shot on. Cavalieri almost stretched and got the rebound from Evan Foley, but it got by. And once again, this Foley line taking advantage of turnovers in the offensive end. Evan Foley gets his 5th of the year. Keplinger moves up through center. Now Devaney chasing after the loose puck. Firth gets there ahead of him, pokes it to Batida. Devaney muscled off by Oakes behind the Thunderbirds net. Keplinger and Johnson wrestling for the puck. Johnson pushed it further. Oakes moves back in his team's direction. Finally, Alex Johnson backhands it deep. Cavalieri catch and drop to Tucker Firth. Up to Batida. He slows up. Tried to feed it all the way across. Hit his own man, Peavy. But came right back to Batida. Now Firth. Down low, Batida. Tried to feed the slot to Keplinger. It's now behind the net again. Johnson turned over. Here's Batida. His pass doesn't find its intended target. That was Panicek. Here's Scantleberry's shot off of Pasuka's stick and out of play. We'll take a timeout. 2-2 our score from the Annex in Winston-Salem. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here in Winston-Salem, Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Evan Foley tying the score just a minute and a half of game time ago or so. His 5th of the year knocks this game back up at two goals apiece. Prowlers looking for more in the offensive zone. Decumbus takes it behind the net, put it off the side of the net. Nobody home for the Prowlers there as Kennedy starts up ice. Tried to feed it in front. Hufflin steered it away. Scantleberry sends Merritt on his way. Tried to find Decumbus. Schnapp was back to step in front of that pass. Now here's Decumbus. Back to Scantleberry. Merritt, he scores! Sam Merritt coming around the net unguarded. Catches that backdoor pass from Vinny Decumbus, and the Prowlers have their first lead of the night. Sam Merritt came in with speed, dropped it off for Vinny Decumbus, and great job by Merritt getting lost behind the net, coming back out in front, and Decumbus found him with a perfect pass. 8:02 to go, second period. Prowlers with the lead. Dan Chartrand getting his first shift of the game along with Dalton Jay and Liam Freeborn. Here's Oakes dumping it in. Now Freeborn. Puck got stuck there in the corner. He works it up towards Chartrand. He sent it all the way down. So icing called against the Prowlers with 7:36 on the clock in the second period. For Sam Merritt, that's his third goal of the season. He extends his point streak to 6. And they give the assist to Decumbus and Scantleberry. Another nice rush from that group. It was an odd man rush that got the first goal of their big shift last game. Here's Chartrand with Freeborn. Wrist shot gloved and held by Cavalieri, and then Chartrand knocked down by Firth in front of the Thunderbirds net. And not much else is going to come from this except for a few words. As I was saying, and now Chartrand and Firth looking to get a piece of each other. The linesman really separating them this time. And now pushing them towards the penalty boxes. And they'll open the doors for Firth and Chartrand. We'll see what the calls are here. Looks like rough on both sides. All that remains to be seen is if it will be 5-on-5 or 4-on-4. I was talking about this Merritt, DeCumbus, and Scantlebury line, as they got the 2 goals in 18 seconds for the Prowlers that tied things up last Saturday against Binghamton. The first one was off of a nice rush from the defensive zone to the offensive end. That one was Scantlebury's goal. DeCumbus scored a little while after that. Those 2 goals in 18 seconds. But it's Merritt's goal here that gives the Prowlers their first lead of the game, as the Carolina faithful giving Dan Chartrand all he can handle in that penalty box. Meanwhile, it will be 4-on-4 on the ice. So 2 minutes each for roughing to Chartrand and Firth. And the Thunderbirds start up ice. Johnson almost let that puck go by him, and Panicek was looking to pick it up on the other side. But Alex Johnson able to control it, get it to center. Here's Grebenikov. Taken by Foley. He backhands it towards Alex Johnson, who has skating room. Johnson cuts to the middle, takes the shot, Cavalieri the save. Foley behind the net. Comes to Devaney. To the top, Federley. Wrist shot. That one found the glass. Devaney pushed up against the boards by Ford. And Gus Ford takes the puck away, but his pass too far ahead of Panicek. Federley recovers in his own end. Up to DeCumbus. Now DeCumbus with Ford back, and his shot stopped by Cavalieri. He gobbles up the rebound and holds on with 6:15 to go in period 2. 56 seconds left in the 4-on-4. As DeCumbus and Vartiainen out there as the forwards for the Prowlers. Keplinger and Rowe, the forwards for the Thunderbirds. Face-off one right back to Hainzel. Baker was trying to tap it by him. Thunderbirds actually have 3 forwards out there right now. It's Baker, Rowe, and Keplinger. Joe Kennedy, the lone defenseman. Prowlers running 2 defensemen. Right now it's Dustin Henning and Adam Hainzel. A couple of Thunderbirds run into each other. Keplinger and Rowe. Puck goes into Carolina ice. 30 seconds left in the 4-on-4. 5:47 to go in the second period. Keplinger curls back. And now he turns up. Josh Keplinger into the zone. Dropped off for Rowe. Lucas Rowe moves up top. Now he curls around, finds some space. Rowe with a shot, and a nice save by Hofflin. Lucas Rowe still with the puck. Couldn't get around Vartiainen with it. And Henning moves the other way. Hainzel, as we're back to 5-on-5. Does a spin move, taken down, but he was already on his way down, so no call. Kennedy. Forechecked by Graham. Freeborn to Graham to Jay. He scores! Good turnover from Freeborn down low. Graham, the one-touch to Dalton Jay, and he goes bar down. And the Prowlers have a 2-goal lead. This period has been all Prowlers. Right now, shots saying 15-6 in the period, 25, it should be 16-6, in the period. And for the game now, 26-21, as Dalton Jay gets his team high 10th of the season. And he extends his goal streak to 5 straight games. Schnapp looking for the answer, batted away by Williams. Here's Jay again the other way, has Graham with him. Dalton J over to Matt Graham, but maybe a bit too unselfish there as Cody Oakes was in on the back check. Puck pops loose. Pastuca trying to play it forward. Parsons took it away. Now up to Williams. Dangerously back towards Parsons. Pastuca rattles it in. Both teams making some changes as Hoffland feeds Parsons in the right wing corner. Now Sam Williams up to Foley, surrounded by Thunderbirds, so he gets it deep, gets it, almost got it there. He swung and missed on that loose puck, but Evan Foley split the defense, and he almost got that himself as the puck goes off the glass and out of play with 3:49 to go in the second period. Well, Sam Merritt gave the Prowlers the lead, and Dalton J extended it. It's been a great second period for Port Huron. They're up by 2. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex, Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Well, it's been a heck of a period for Port Huron after giving up a power play goal to the Thunderbirds that gave Carolina a 2-1 lead. They've scored 3 straight and take a 2-goal lead. Foley, Merritt, and Jay, the goal scorers for the Prowlers, as here's Firth. Now it's backhanded in front by Panicek. That didn't go anywhere. Here comes Devaney. Sends it in on Cavalieri, and he'll hang on with 3:23 to go in the second period. Three goals in the second half. This is 3 goals in the second half of this period. And coming in a span of under 5 minutes for the Prowlers. Firth, ridden in by Scantlebury. Merritt in there to help out, but Panicek comes away with the puck. Panicek to Grebenikov up the right wing side into Prowler territory. His shot blocked partially by Hainsel. Henning plays it up to DeCumbus. Goes to Scantlebury. He absorbs a hit from Firth. DeCumbus and Grebenikov behind the net. Kicks over to 6'5" Jan Salak, but his pass too far ahead of its intended target, goes all the way down for icing. Adam Hainsel out racing fellow Czech Peter Panicek. And now Hainsel and Panicek having some words. They exchanged a couple of shoves. And the referees just trying to make sure that both teams head to their benches. The play is an icing, so the faceoff will come back into the Thunderbirds' end. Right now, the play behind the play is between Hainsel and Panicek. Now Alex Johnson yelling something at Danny Martin. And I think it's because Martin wasn't on the ice. Thunderbirds are trying to sneak in a change there. That's what Alex Johnson is yelling about. There are 5 Thunderbirds on the ice. They're going to make Joe Kennedy come back out. Martin heads off. I think Grebenikov made like he was going to come back out, but through all the confusion, Not sure if all 5 Thunderbirds are the same 5 that were out there. Alex Johnson was furious on the Prowlers bench. And it's going to be another icing against the Thunderbirds as that pass also missed. Johnson, the Prowlers assistant GM and assistant coach, as well as defenseman wearing number 25, still searching for his first goal of the season after tying the FPHL record for a defenseman with 20 last season. Let's see who's going to take this draw for the Thunderbirds. It ended up being Firth. Parsons sent it to the net. Freeborn took it on the wall. Williams tried to put it on. Firth cut it off. Puck drops to Freeborn. He cycles down low. Graham battling with Kennedy. Joe Kennedy won that one, and he moves up ice. Here's Kennedy working on Parsons to the backhand. Parsons with a good play to poke it off his stick, and then Williams with a nice hit on Kennedy. Salak turning away from Graham. Jan Salak still curling in that right wing corner, and he'll drop it off to Panicek. Now the cycle continues to PV. Salak behind the Prowlers net. Tried to feed it out in front, only it got as far as Hofflin, and he'll hold on. And Panicek gave a chop towards Hofflin. Sam Williams didn't like that. He comes after Panicek. Joe Kennedy being escorted away by the linesman from Matt Graham. They're going to open the penalty box door for Kennedy. I didn't see what Joe Kennedy did because I was watching Williams and Panicek behind the net. Batita and Federley going to get an explanation. Williams also headed to the box. So is Panicek. So if my numbers are correct, it will be a 5-on-4 power play for the Prowlers. And the motions I saw as now Schnapp getting involved in front of the Prowlers bench. They have to wrestle him away from Tucker Scantlebury. Dalton J letting the referees know exactly what happened. Looks like more bodies will be heading to the box. Schnapp heading over there. Prowlers arguing as if they want to take Tucker Scantlebury. Danny Martin having a conversation with Matt Graham at center. Batita and Federley representing their teams over at the referee circle. And now linesman Kenny Malak over to help his fellow linesman Lucas Rieger keep the peace between the benches. Originally, I saw cross-checking for both Kennedy and Panicek. That's the only ones I saw so far. And also a cross-checking coming down for Sam Williams. Those were the original penalties off of the scrum in front of the Prowlers net and off to the side and behind and everywhere deep in the Prowlers end. Now Jacob Schnapp is sitting in the penalty box for Carolina. All of this going on with 1:45 to go in the second period, and the Prowlers up by a pair. And now they'll come back and figure things out. So just Williams in the box for the Prowlers. As I'm listening to the announcements over the loudspeaker here. So now Panicek gets a slashing penalty. And Schnapp with the extra cross check. So it's Kennedy and Schnapp for cross-checking, Panicek for slashing for Carolina, and then Sam Williams for cross-checking for Port Huron. And the fans here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex voicing their displeasure with the referees. Although it looks like we do have 5-on-4. So I'm not sure how the penalties shake down. If there are 3 Thunderbirds in one box and 1 Prowler in the other box, that feels like it should be a 5-on-3 because it would be a 2-man difference. And over to explain, Kenny Maniz, the referee over at the Prowlers bench, to explain why it's a 5-on-4. Of course, I will never hear this explanation. Maybe I can ask after the game, but that won't help you, the viewer, all that much. As they blow the whistle, and Panicek is the only one up on the board. Either way, it's a Prowlers power play. Scantlebury plays it down low to Foley, comes over to Devaney off a stick, and now Federley to Devaney on the near half wall. Devaney walks up, thought about the shot, instead goes down low. Scantlebury in the slot, he scores! Foley, the one-touch pass to Tucker Scantlebury, and he didn't get all of that shot. It fooled Mario Cavalieri, and the Prowlers have a power play goal, and they extend their lead to 3. So Panicek released from the Thunderbirds penalty box. That only took 20 seconds of power play time. Minute 24 to go, second period. That's Tucker Scantlebury's 8th of the year in just game number 12. Devaney looking for more, over to Vartiainen, wrist shot. That hit a stick. Rowe trying to play it out to center. Taken away by Federley, sends Devaney in. Puck comes back to him in the slot. Vartiainen tried to put it back in front. Cavalieri finds it and covers with a minute 2 to go. A heck of a period for the Port Huron Prowlers. 4 unanswered goals. That last one on the power play, and it extends the lead to 3. Comes back on net, Cavalieri again with the save, and he'll hold on again. Clock never started here at the Annex, so still sitting at a minute 2 to go in the second. Firth rims it off the glass and out. So a little bit of choppiness in the play here. There's a lot of stoppages since that last Prowlers goal. We now have 56 seconds left in the second period as we crawl towards the finish of the middle frame. Pringle and Freeborn set to draw. Lucas Freeborn getting some opportunities at center. Here's a 2-on-1. Keplinger, wrist shot, saved by Hoffland, and the rebound out of the reach of Martin. Jay the other way. Poked off his stick and Graham touched it, but offsides at the line with 40 seconds to go in the second period. Liam Freeborn getting some chances at center. That's usually Matt Graham's spot, but he's getting an opportunity to take some face-offs with this line, although this time it will be Graham in the face-off circle going up against Pringle. Pringle wins it back cleanly as Firth sends the rolling puck to Pastuka. Stuka trying to settle it down as well as make a pass. He finds Martin. Now Keplinger shot, kick saving a beauty from Wyatt Hoffland. Puck in the corner. 23 seconds left to go in the period. Graham off the boards. Freeborn up to Hainsel. He has Jay, gave it to him. And now penalty coming. Keplinger goes after Freeborn. Freeborn gave Keplinger a bit of a shot after Keplinger threw a hit on him at the side, on the sideboards. Now Keplinger being restrained. And Batita and Federley will once again head to the referee circle. They're going to take Freeborn and Keplinger as well. This will likely be matching. Liam Freeborn will need a new stick, as Keplinger slashed it in half. And we'll see what comes of this. Only 11.3 seconds to go in this second period. It feels like forever ago that Tucker Scantlebury scored for the Prowlers with a minute 21 on the clock. That feels like forever ago, as we've had a lot of action since then. A lot of stoppages. And it's now 3 Thunderbirds in the box to 2 Prowlers. Keplinger still giving it to Freeborn, almost as much as the Thunderbirds fans are. And now Keplinger enlisting the help of a couple of fans down there behind the penalty boxes to pass along some messages. Little game of telephone between the penalty boxes and the fans. Freeborn giving it right back. So 2 minutes for slashing to each Freeborn and Keplinger. We'll play 4-on-4 for at least the rest of this period. Final 5 seconds ticking off. Puck will stay below the goal line in the Thunderbirds' end, and that's going to do it for what was a heck of a period for the Port Huron Prowlers. They score 4 unanswered goals to take a 5-2 lead into the break, as both teams head to their respective dressing rooms with no more antics and no more issues. As we get set for the second intermission, Prowlers will head to the locker room with a 3-goal lead. Well, secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game as they take on the Columbus River Dragons on Friday, November 9th, with puck drop at McMorran Place scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Tickets are available online at phprowlers.com/tickets or by calling the box office at 810-985-6166. That's online at phprowlers.com/tickets or by phone at 810-985-6166. Second intermission underway here from Winston-Salem with the Prowlers up by 3. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. back here in Winston-Salem. Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. Well, we're in the second intermission, and it was a huge second period for the Port Huron Prowlers. We'll get into all of that in just a moment, but first, we'll take you around the FPHL. Starting in upstate New York, the Elmira Mammoth holding a 2-0 lead on the Mississippi Seawolves through 2 periods of play. Meanwhile, also in upstate New York, the Binghamton Black Bears are under 2 minutes away from a victory over the Watertown Wolves. They have a 6-3 lead in the late stages of the third. They've scored 4 straight goals between late second and the third periods. A back and forth affair in the Motor City is through 40 minutes of play. The Rockers hold a 5-4 lead over the Delaware Thunder. And finally, the Danbury Hat-Tricks are shutting out the Columbus River Dragons 3-0 as they start the third period there. Brian Wilson, the recently named FPHL Goaltender of the Month for October and November. They combine the 2 months, October and November. He has a 25-save shutout going over the River Dragons as they begin the final 20 minutes of regulation. And of course here, it is 5-2 Prowlers through 40 minutes of play. It was a 1-1 score after the first period, but the Thunderbirds were able to strike on the power play after the first penalty of the game. Tucker Scantleberry, a slashing minor at 5:41. Took only 4 seconds for Jacob Schnapp to pot his second power play marker of the year from John Batita and Dawson Baker. That gave Carolina its second lead of the night. But just past the midway point of the period, Joe Devaney picked off a pass in the Thunderbirds end, put a shot on, and Evan Foley tapped in the rebound. That tied things up for the Prowlers. And then just over a minute and a half later, a good rush from the Merritt line as Vinny DeCumbus found Sam Merritt on the back door coming out from around the net. He had an easy tap in. He gave the Prowlers their first lead of the night. We skipped to under 5 minutes to go in that second period, and a good forecheck from Liam Freeborn to take the puck. He found Matt Graham, who found Dalton Jay in the slot. He went Bardowski, and that gave the Prowlers a 4-2 lead. And then late in the period, Tucker Scantleberry with a power play goal to make it a 3-goal game for the Prowlers. And in between all of that, we had a lot of penalties. It started with Tucker Firth and Dan Chartrand getting matching roughing minors. And then late in that period, this is what led to the Prowlers power play that Scantleberry scored on. There was an incident involved behind and to the side of the Prowlers net involving Sam Williams and Peter Panacek. And then Joe Kennedy came in from his point to also get involved. All 3 of them went to the box, and while things were being figured out, Jacob Schnapp went after a Prowler in front of the Port Huron bench, so he was also sent to the sin bin. So there were 3 Thunderbirds in the box and just 1 Prowler. You would think that would be a 5-on-3, but instead it was a 5-on-4 power play. No matter for the Port Huron Prowlers, as Scantleberry, as I mentioned, able to score on it. And then late in that period, in the final seconds, Liam Freeborn took a hit as he was moving the puck from Josh Keplinger. And then Freeborn gave Keplinger a slash. Keplinger gave Freeborn a bigger slash. They had to be separated, and they were both sent to the box together. And that is, so we ended that period 4-on-4 with those 2 sitting in the box. I was just informed by the off-ice officials up here that a bench minor has been assessed to the Carolina Thunderbirds. It is up on the scoreboard, 2 minutes for a bench minor, so in all likelihood, the Prowlers will start this period on a power play, and we'll have it all for you when we return. An entertaining second period. We'll see what the Prowlers can do here in the third to lock things down. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here in Winston-Salem, getting set for period number 3, and the Prowlers holding a 3-goal lead over the Carolina Thunderbirds. Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining me tonight for Port Huron Prowlers hockey. They take on the Carolina Thunderbirds for the final series between these two teams this season, the second and final series. Only one here in Winston-Salem, as the referee's explaining the deal at center here to a couple of Thunderbirds. We have Kennedy, Schnapp, and Keplinger in the Thunderbirds penalty box, Freeborn and Williams in the Prowlers box. And again, there was that penalty at the end of the period. It was 2 minutes, a 2-minute bench minor against the Thunderbirds. Not exactly sure what it was for, but it can confirm that it was a 2-minute bench minor against the Thunderbirds. And it looks like there are 4 Prowlers on the ice, so we will play 4-on-3 in all likelihood. Those 4 are Foley, Devaney, Scantleberry, and Federley. We've yet to see who the Thunderbirds will be sending out. Now we have 4 Thunderbird. Gus Ford is heading to join this party in the Thunderbirds box. He'll serve the bench minor. We have Baker, Batita, and Firth, the penalty killers for Carolina. 20 minutes up on the board. 4-on-3 power play for the Prowlers to begin this period. Well, it's one forward. Here's Batita looking for a quick opportunity, shorthanded. And he shoots it right into the chest of Wyatt Hofflin, who holds on just 7 seconds into the period. Face-off comes to Federley. And he'll start the breakout up ice. Devaney crosses to the middle, gets over the line and slows up. Prowlers set the power play up. Crisscross with Federley. Now Foley to Federley on the right wing side. Up top Foley, right back to Austin Federley. He curls away from Firth. Now he'll head to the point. Dropped off to Devaney. Down low Foley. To Devaney at the point. Cross to Federley. Wrist shot off the post. Cavalieri didn't seem like he was all ready for that shot. That one chopped out of play between Devaney and Batita. Schnapp and Kennedy heading back to their benches. Everybody else staying in the box. That won't affect on-ice manpower. So it's possible that Williams may have gotten 4 minutes, and that is what evened up everything. But that's just me sitting here guessing. And it's still 4-on-3. Thunderbirds weren't sure of that. 4-on-3 for the next minute 6. It's 4-on-3 for the next 46 seconds, and then it'll be a brief 5-on-4 man advantage for the Prowlers. As here's Jay. Into the Thunderbirds end, drops it off. Graham leaves for Johnson. Vartiainen also on this power play unit. Johnson over to Vartiainen. Back to Johnson. Down low to Graham. Over to Vartiainen. One touch to Johnson. Back to Vartiainen. He hit the post with the one-timer. Couple of posts for the Prowlers early in this period. And now Vartiainen lost the handle at the line. 2-on-2 rush the other way. Here's Salak feeding it across. Too high for Pringle. Delayed penalty coming against the Prowlers. And Vartiainen touches up. We'll get the call. It's a 2-minute tripping penalty to Alex Johnson. And we'll play, I want to say 4-on-4. It should be 4-on-4 for the next 14 seconds. And then it will be a Thunderbirds man advantage. So 4-on-4, Merritt, Tecumseh, Henning, and Hainzel, the 4 for the Prowlers. Panicek, Salak, Baker, and Keplinger, the 4 for Carolina. Here is Baker off the draw. Gives to Keplinger. Now to Salak. Up top, Baker. Back to Salak. Panicek to Baker. Shoots. And he whistled it high and wide off the glass and out of play. Ford steps out of the box. So it's a 5-on-4 Thunderbirds power play for the next minute and 43 now that we have all of that sorted. Five on 4 now as Keplinger wins the draw back to Baker. Over to Ford, one touch to Panicek. He one touches it in kind to Baker. Here's Ford, wrist shot, saved by Hoffland, and Henning gloved the rebound to the corner. Ford coming out in front, takes the shot through traffic, and Hoffland finds it and covers up. And now Sam Williams is allowed to leave the penalty box. So the only player left in the penalty box on either side is Alex Johnson, who's chatting with a Thunderbirds fan. I'm sure kind words being exchanged between those two. Baker, wrist shot, kick saved by Hoffland. The rebound to Ford, goes to the backhand, and he scores! Gus Ford on the power play gets the Thunderbirds back within 2 with 17:29 to go in the third. It's the second power play goal of the game for the Thunderbirds, who came in with the 7th ranked power play in the FBHL. And for Gus Ford, his 3rd power play goal of the year, 10th overall. He pulls into a tie with Dawson Baker for the most goals on the Thunderbirds. Williams off the boards and deep. As here's Firth behind his own cage. We didn't notice until now, Boris Babic is in goal now for the Carolina Thunderbirds, taking over from Mario Cavalieri. And we'll get you the stats on Boris Babic when we can. That puck goes out of play. So Babic, the new goalie for Carolina, named the best goalie in the Turkish Super League last season. So far this year, he's 4-1 with a .274 goals against average and a .903 save percentage. Boris Babic likely in line to get the start tomorrow as well. But we'll see when that comes. as the Prowlers have one shot so far on them in this period. Firth just sends it to the right wing corner. Jay up to Freeborn. Freeborn backhands it deep. Williams first on it. Turns away from a hit from Grebennikov. Salak in there. Turned it over to Freeborn. Jay trying to center. Chopped away, and here comes Petita. Finds Panicek, nicely poked off his stick by Brian Parsons. Great play by Parsons as Peter Panicek was looking to move up ice with speed. Jay, 1-on-2, takes the shot. Firth blocked it, and Petita takes the puck. Turned it over to Scantlebury. Tucker Scantlebury to the backhand, tried to go back to the forehand. Babbitt pokes it away and out of danger. Grebennikov and Scantlebury had a hug behind the play. Turned over at the Prowlers line. Here's Scantlebury back in. Takes the shot, missed it far side. Ford takes the rebound off the boards, moves up to Petita. Petita feeds Keplinger. He had his stick locked up. Now comes out to Kennedy, a shot blocked by Hainsel, sliding down to get in front of that puck. And it goes out of play with 15:37 to go in the third period. Face-off coming in the Prowlers' end. Baker and Merritt set to take it. And it's one to the boards. Hainsel plays it off the wall. Merritt collects, moves to Scantlebury. He goes up the boards, and Tecumseh right there to take it. Henning kicked it up to his stick and knocked it deep, taking a hit from Tucker Firth for his effort. Chopped off the boards and out. Here's Ford trying to step around Henning. He does Ford in, and Hofflin with the save. A hooking call coming against Dustin Henning, so the Prowlers will go back to the PK. Unless it's Tucker Scantlebury that they're getting for it. So Henning with clean defense. Scantlebury, the one getting sent to the box. Prowlers back to the PK, not a place they want to be. Thunderbirds already with 2 power play goals. 15:11 to go, third period. One of those power play goals coming in this frame from Gus Ford. Hofflin and Federley get tangled up. Luckily for the Prowlers, Salak couldn't complete the wraparound. He was challenged by Williams. That could have been a disaster. Salak to the point row. Cross to Kennedy. Now Panicek tried to feed it across, blocked by Graham. Williams couldn't get it out. And this time Williams, from his back, able to poke it to center and into Carolina territory. Kennedy, too far ahead of Keplinger. Federley got a stick on it and kept it out of his zone. 14:30 to go, third period as Rowe curls back. Up to Kennedy. Kennedy chips it by Federley. Hoffling keeps it away, but Salak gets it to the point. Thunderbirds set up. Comes over to Rowe, steps in, shoots, he scores! Third power play goal of the game for Carolina, second of the period, and just like that, it's a 1-goal game with 14:10 to go. You can't count out a team as dangerous as the Thunderbirds coming into this game. Fourth in the FPHL with 61 goals scored. And they're showing why in this third period. Lucas Rowe gets his 10th of the year. Third Thunderbird with 10 goals this season. He had the OT winner the last time these two teams met. And he makes it a 1-goal contest. Still lots of time to go in this one. Tecumseh gets it out. Babbitt coming all the way out to play it. Had Scantlebury charging. And he's able to play it to center. Peavy across off of Martin's skate and back to center. Here's Scantlebury. Muscles his way around Oaks. Cross to Tecumseh. He scores! Vinny Tecumseh directs it into the net. That's the answer the Prowlers needed. It's a 6-4 game. This line is red hot for the Port Huron Prowlers. And Vinny Tecumseh didn't even have to shoot that puck all that hard. He just directed it. And the Prowlers restore the 2-goal cushion. For Vinny Tecumseh, his second goal this season. He has goals in back-to-back games. And that takes some of the wind out of these Thunderbirds' sails and really silences this crowd at the Annex that's been buzzing after that first power play goal of the period for Carolina. Federley collects in his own end. Works up to Johnson. Flips it high. Past Firth. Devaney racing towards it. He's got it. Has Vartiainen, but takes it himself. Knocked down. Where's the puck? It's fed to the corner. Devaney. Knocked down. And a penalty coming up against the Thunderbirds as Johnson took a hit. Firth heading to the box, so the Prowlers will go to the power play. A wild start to this third period. Prowlers still up by 2. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Back here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Thanks for joining us. Well, you just saw 2 goals in 32 seconds of game time from Lucas Rowe and Vinny Tecumseh. Tecumseh's goal, the answer the Prowlers needed after giving up 2 man advantage goals to start the third period. But now they go on the power play themselves. It's Tucker Firth getting a 2-minute penalty for cross-checking. Barn burner in Winston-Salem as Peavy and Merritt get set to draw. Merritt wins it back to Johnson. He one-hands it over to Freeborn. Down to Jay. Now Graham behind that, tried to feed Merritt in front. And it goes to Dalton Jay. He slows things down. Graham below the goal line, all the way up top. Freeborn across towards Jay. That was poked away. Oaks on his horse. And Freeborn catches him. Jay up to Graham. He waits for help and feeds it cross ice to Freeborn. Muscles around Oaks into the zone. Liam Freeborn all the way this side to Dalton Jay. Up top, Johnson. Now Jay on the near side, cross Freeborn. Didn't get all of that one-time shot. Looking for his second goal of the game. Grebennikov up to Peavy for a shorthanded break. And Johnson got a stick on that shot. Grebennikov and Freeborn take each other out. Grebennikov went in hard. He's holding his leg, and he is hurt. Nothing malicious there from Liam Freeborn, as he was just trying to defend Grebennikov on the back check. They both went down. And it looks like they're going to send Freeborn to the penalty box. An interesting call here as Victor Grebennikov stays down in the corner in the Prowlers' end. Now he's up to his feet with help and to cheers from the Thunderbirds faithful. Skating under his own power. Now he'll get some help from Joe Kennedy. He's putting no weight on that right leg. So the penalty coming to Freeborn. And now a fight breaking out in front of the Prowlers bench. Grebenikov involved. And the battle's going on with Prowlers who are still on the bench. And that can get messy. And I can't tell who that was. Gloves are off. Punches being thrown. Schnapp is involved. Peavy throwing punches onto the Prowlers bench. Schnapp almost jumping over top of the boards to get after Brian Parsons. Parsons throwing back. There's a stick in his face. Grebenikov being wrestled to the box by a linesman on the near side. Keplinger just dropped his gloves. The entire Thunderbirds bench has been cleared. All of the Thunderbirds are over in front of the Prowlers bench. Jacob Schnapp has no jersey on. There's gloves and sticks littering the ice. It's a yard sale in front of the Prowlers bench. Schnapp is being shown the door to the locker room. He'll get an early shower to cheers from the Thunderbirds faithful. And now the teams separating. I didn't see exactly what started that. But Grebenikov, who was injured, and that's why the whistle blew. He was injured in the corner, and that's why the whistle blew, and he was heading over to the bench. Something happened, and now Brian Parsons is being sent off. A beer can has been thrown onto the ice by a Thunderbirds fan at Brian Parsons. It didn't hit him, but now Parsons heads off the ice. And it looks like over by the Prowlers tunnel, I believe that's Barry Soskin, the owner of both the Thunderbirds and the Prowlers, gesturing to see that fan removed from the arena. Whoever threw that beer. Cody Oakes also heading off the ice to the dressing room. Oh boy, we have a lot to figure out here with 11:50 to go in the third period. Batita and Henning, the two captains representing their teams at the referee circle. Matt Graham, head coach over there as well. So is Dalton Jay, one of the Prowlers' assistant captains. As we try and get all this sorted. There's a member of the crew here at the Fairgrounds Annex on the ice to clean up that beer can. I think fans are pointing out the fan that did it as they try and kick him out. Over here to my left in the section on the near side of the ice. And that fan being escorted out of the annex. So it looks like things are cleaned up in the stands. And now all we have to do is clean things up on the ice, which is a lot easier said than done when you have a bench brawl the way that we just did. You know, things always can get heated between these two teams. They'll be back at it tomorrow here at the Annex at 6:05 p.m. We'll have that one here for you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. And now Victor Grebenikov heads off the ice. Both of his legs seem to be working just fine, which is good news for all the Thunderbirds fans. He's been sent off. I didn't see any other Prowlers sent off currently. No penalties up on the website here yet, and why not? Because the referees are still discussing. But the off-ice officials here will have a lot of work to do over the next couple of minutes. Rocking around the Christmas tree, rocking the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. As we set the penalty, get the penalties set. The original penalty was on Liam Freeborn. 2 minutes for tripping as he took down Viktor Grebennikov on the back check. It was a shorthanded opportunity for Grebennikov. And if that was the only penalty, it would be 4-on-4 for the next minute 1, and then 59 seconds of power play time for the Carolina Thunderbirds. But of course, that wasn't it. And we have a lot coming down. A 5-in-a-game misconduct to Viktor Grebennikov. He gets 5 for fighting and a 10-minute aggressor misconduct. He's done for the night. Still 11:50 to go in this third period, and 60 minutes tomorrow. Grebennikov, the only penalty we have so far. I'll let you know when we have more. Shots on goal right now, not that that's what anyone's thinking about at this moment, but I'm running out of things to talk about. 31 apiece, 7-2 in favor of Carolina in this third period. An absolute melee ensued at the Prowlers bench as Viktor Grebennikov was heading to his own bench. Jacob Schnapp got involved. He left the ice. Cody Oakes also left the ice, and for the Prowlers, Brian Parsons was removed, but not without a close shower from a beer can being tossed from the stands. The only penalties up on the board right now are Freeborn's 2-minute minor, and of course Tucker Firth, the lone man who could not be a part of this scuffle, this brouhaha that ensued at the Prowlers bench. He's still in the box for the next minute and 1 second. Schnapp and Lucas Rowe were ejected for leaving the bench. Although if you want to start ejecting guys on the Thunderbirds for leaving the bench, you might as well end this game and send them all home. Because except for Tucker Firth and the 5 guys left on the ice, or 4 guys left on the ice because it was a penalty kill for Carolina. So Schnapp and Rowe off the ice. I may have been mistaken. Well, Rowe's still on the ice. Cody Oakes was the one who did go off the ice. Rowe is 9, Oakes is 19, and I wonder if there was some kind of confusion there. Lucas Rowe is the man standing all the way on the right, inside on your camera screen there, in the Carolina zone. Brian Parsons gets an instigator penalty. That's a 10-minute misconduct, and he was also tossed from the game. He also got 5 minutes for fighting. So 5 plus 10 is 15. That's more than the 11:50 we have left in the third period. He goes to the locker room. The Rowe is being sent back to his bench. So there may be a little bit of confusion there. And now Danny Martin off the bench. Now here comes Lucas Rowe. So Rowe heads off the ice as well. That is the, I want to say, fourth Thunderbird I've seen leave the ice. Rowe, Schnapp, Grebennikov, and Cody Oakes. We haven't seen anything about Cody Oakes so far on our penalty meter, so I'm not sure why he left. Maybe there was a little bit of confusion between 9 and 19. We have a 5-minute major up for Grebennikov now on the clock. So it should be a 4-on-3 power play for the Prowlers. That looks like the on-ice manpower right now. So it is confirmed Schnapp and Rowe, game misconducts for leaving the bench. And now we are set for Prowlers 4-on-3 man advantage. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with me as we figured this all out. Federley, as we get back to playing hockey. At the point, over to Devaney. Devaney. Cross to Federley. Off his stick, Petita challenging, and Federley puts it deep. Foley below the goal line, steps out, and his pass to Federley gets by and goes all the way down. 34 seconds left on the 4-on-3. Then it will be 4-on-4 until Freeborn's out 90 seconds from now. Here's Foley with Scantleberry, takes the shot, kick save, rebound, Merritt, and another save from Babick. Petita finds some open ice. He skates it, gives to Kennedy. Kennedy power move, couldn't get a good shot away. Merritt leaves it for Federley. Firth up, set to come out in 5 seconds. Here's Scantleberry, steps around his man, but the puck skitters to the corner. 4-on-4 right now for the next 55 seconds as DeCumbus turned one on net, stopped by Babick. DeCumbus taken into the wall by Firth. 2-on-1 scrum as DeCumbus is down. He may have been down on the puck, which might be the reason for the whistle, although the training staff is coming over for Vinny DeCumbus. He hasn't gotten up yet. And now a man down. It's a Prowler in the Carolina end. We had a Thunderbird down the Prowler's end just moments ago. Now a Prowler down in the Carolina end. It's Vinny DeCumbus. Thunderbirds training staff tending to him. 10:35 to go, third period. 45 seconds left on Liam Freeborn's penalty. And after that, it will be a 3-minute power play for the Prowlers. DeCumbus still down in that corner. Nobody heading to the Thunderbirds penalty box. I'm not sure if there will be anybody there. DeCumbus up to his knees, as he was in on a 2-on-1 scrum there for the puck in the corner. I thought he might have fallen on top of it, and the referees just wanted to make sure there wasn't too much digging. DeCumbus still on his knees, talking to the Thunderbirds training staff. Tucker Scantleberry there as well. And now he's back to his feet. And they're going to take Vinny DeCumbus to the Prowlers locker room, a little bit dazed as he heads over there. He gets a tap from Adam Hainsel and Dustin Henning on his way over there. He's a little bit bent over, holding that left wrist or in left hand. Don't want to speculate, but if that gives you any clue, might be involved. three defensemen out there for the Prowlers right now. Larry Vartiainen, the lone forward. Sam Williams acting as a forward. Adam Hainsel and Dustin Henning, the defense pair. Hainsel with a nice hip check on Kennedy. Wrist shot by Firth, high and wide. Salak to Panicek. Tried to drop back for Salak. Pushed into the wall by Henning. Salak. Henning battling in the corner. Panicek and Hainsel there too. Salak and Henning go down. And now it's Henning holding a part of his body and down on the ice. Hofflin covers up as that puck came to the net. Dustin Henning slow to get up in the near side corner of Prowlers territory. We will take a timeout. Henning back to his feet. 6-4 your score here in the third period. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
9:53 to go. Third period in a 6-4 game from the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. Will Wiggleman taking you through it. And we're going through it together as there's been a lot of penalties, a couple of injuries over the past couple of minutes. And in this third period, we saw the Thunderbirds bench clear to go battle with the Prowlers bench. We saw Victor Grebenikov down in the Prowlers end, and then he got involved in that fight. Vinny DeCumbus just a minute ago was down in Thunderbirds territory. He's headed to the locker room. And then we saw Dustin Henning, who was slow to his feet, but he's back to the bench. That might have just been a stick in a not so great area for Dustin Henning. Well, it's a Prowlers power play for the next 2 minutes and 50 seconds on Victor Grebenikov's 5-minute major. As he got the instigator, here's Jay, backdoor to Graham. What a save by Babick. Oh man, beautiful passing play, but Babick was better. Panicek gets to Kennedy. Joe Kennedy moves it up ice himself through center. Gets around Graham, recollects the puck in the corner, centers for Salak, and a big save by Hofflin on the doorstep. Salak knocked down. Merritt and Jay battling with him for the puck in the corner. Freeborn, fresh out of the box just a minute ago, gives to Jay. Jay, quick shot, save, rebound in and out of Babick's glove. And it comes to the corner. And Freeborn took a big hit from Yuri Pastuka, who takes the puck and sends it all the way down. Freeborn, not the first big hit that Liam Freeborn has taken in this game. Took one from Josh Keplinger that resulted in a little battle with both of them getting slashing penalties from it. That happened all the way back in the first period, which seems like ages ago with the number of goals and penalties we've had since then. Federley comes around from behind his own net. Drops to Devaney. Scanterbury touches it on for Vartiainen. Devaney trying to control that bouncing puck, but sent all the way down in Hofflin's direction. Under 8 to play, third period. Foley drops to Devaney. Curls away from Martin. And now Joe Devaney to Vartiainen. He starts up ice. Federley at the red line. Tried to feed Graham moving in, but the play is offsides at the line with 42 seconds to go on the penalty to Grebenikov being served by Dawson Baker. 7:32 to go in a wild third period. Prowlers still with a 2-goal lead. Firth wrists it all the way down off the draw. Prowlers just have the Graham line along with Johnson and Williams. As Williams backhands it into the Thunderbirds bench and then went out of play into the stands. So we'll have a whistle, face-off coming at center ice. $7:15 to go, third period. 25 seconds left on the Prowlers' man advantage as Williams moves it to Freeborn. He turned it over to Ford. Gus Ford through center. Gets by Freeborn. Couldn't get by Sam Williams. Prowlers trying to turn it up the other way. Graham takes it back from Freeborn. Here's Williams. Crossover to Jay, but he couldn't get a hold of that puck. Freeborn held up behind the net by Kennedy. We're back to 5-on-5 as Ford works out from behind his own cage. Keplinger shoots it off the side of the net. And Graham looks to turn it up ice, but Ford kept it in. Johnson working on Pringle. Steps by. Alex Johnson sidestepped a hit coming from Yuri Pastuka. Thunderbirds the other way. Ford dances around Merritt. Poked off his stick by Chartrand. Good play by Dan Chartrand. Takes a hit from Keplinger as he gets the puck to center. We're approaching 6 minutes to go, third period. Shots on goals, 35-33 in favor of the Prowlers, 6-4 on the scoreboard as well for the visitors. Baker sauces it, trying to find Ford at the Prowlers' blue line. Instead, Justin Henning will hold it behind his own cage. We are playing 5-on-5 right now, not something we could say all that often in this third period. As they say, Devaney didn't get a touch on that puck at the red line, so icing is called against Port Huron. Prowlers working right now with 5 defensemen and 10 forwards, or 9 forwards, excuse me. They're down 2 players. Thunderbirds down 4 players, 3 of them for game misconducts, and then Cody Oakes just went off the ice, and I don't know why. May have been something coming from that fight that wasn't penalized, maybe needed some repairs. Scantlebury feeds it in front, but he's getting a penalty. A slashing call on Tucker Scantlebury, and he'll head back to the box. And the Thunderbirds will go to the man advantage with 5:14 to go in this third period and a chance to pull back within 1. It's the second slashing call against Scantlebury in this game. Third penalty overall for him. And the long game sheet here, as far as stats go, the long score sheet gets even longer. Faceoff comes straight to Dalton Jay. He's trying to work past Baker, gets around him. Jay, shorthanded, and Babick makes the save. He slides it out to Pringle. Panacek gets in. Now walks up the wall. Peter Panacek, cross to Pringle. Shoots, it's blocked, and this time Dalton Jay will softly send it down. Prowlers in the midst of a change. Babick goes all the way to the boards to take that puck. Ford. Up to Baker. And now Salak. The big check turns away from Alex Johnson. Baker across to Ford. Off of Foley's stick. Prowlers trying to chop it out. Instead, Salak able to keep it going. Baker across to Panacek, but he couldn't control the loose puck, and Merritt clears. 4:09 to go, third period. 53 seconds left on this Thunderbirds power play. Panachek tried to drop to the point. Nobody was there, so Baker has to recover at center. Ford steps in. And puck goes to the boards, but Tita works it in Ford's direction. Panachek at the point. Poked off his stick and out of the zone by Dalton J, who's been all over the ice on this penalty kill. 23 seconds to go on it. Pringle, a wrist shot, missed it wide. Batita overskated the puck. Comes to the point, Panachek to Batita. Down low, Pringle back to Ford, he scores! Pretty passing from the Thunderbirds power play. It's a one-goal game with 3:22 to go. This Thunderbirds power play has been lethal tonight. That's their third man advantage goal of the game. And for Gus Ford, his second of the evening. Martiainen battling with Kennedy for the puck, but Kennedy takes it away. Gus Ford takes over the lead for the Thunderbirds in goals. He has 11 now this season. Firth lofts it into the Prowlers zone. Well, Port Huron came into this period with a 3-goal lead. It's been whittled down to 1. This is the second time the lead has been dropped to 1 goal. Last time, it was only for about a minute and a half. See how long this one lasts. Vartiainen takes the puck behind the net, looking to center. Seg goes down low to Devaney. Off a stick, Martin gloves it down. And now out to Keplinger, being chased down by Merritt. Keplinger loses the puck behind the net. Federley works it up the boards towards Devaney. Pastuca kept it in. 2:16 to go. Comes all the way back out top, but Baker couldn't reach it, and it's out of the zone. Panachek puts it down low. 2 minutes to go in the third period. We'll keep an eye on Babic for you. As Graham chops it past Pastuca. Here's Chartrand by himself. Dan Chartrand takes the shot. Babic the save, and he'll force him to hold on for a whistle. With 1:46 to go in the third period, Babic really wanted to play that puck. Stepped around Chartrand to do it, but he wasn't able to get it done. And we'll have a TV timeout with under 2 to play. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
We invite you to tune in to our next broadcast tomorrow when the Prowlers visit these Carolina Thunderbirds. Puck drop is scheduled for 6:05 p.m. and the pregame show starts at 5:50. It's all right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Boy, have we had a heck of a game for you tonight. Fights, ejections, and lots of goals. Prowlers lead by 1 with time dwindling down. Chartrand trying to hold it deep. He's doing a good job at eating some time off the clock. And now Babic will head to the bench, 1:35 on the clock. Ford stops up, tried to feed. Baker coming off the bench, and the Thunderbirds are offsides. Prowlers are calling for an intentional offsides, but I don't think they'll get it. And the faceoff will stay in front of their bench just outside of the blue line. And it looks like the Thunderbirds have called timeout. Babic retreats into his cage. There's 1:27 to go in this third period. Prowlers holding a 6-5 lead in an absolutely wild 6-5 affair here from the Annex. Let's take a look around the FPHL. They've gone final in Binghamton. Black Bears doubling up the Watertown Wolves 6-3. Also in upstate New York, the Elmira Mammoth win over the Mississippi Seawolves. Final there 2-1. Columbus River Dragons battled back with 3 goals in the third, but fell 4-3 in a shootout to the Danbury Hat-Tricks down in Columbus. And the Motor City Rockers took care of business against the Delaware Thunder, 6-4, the final in Fraser, Michigan. Face-off one back to Baker. Ford takes it. And Babic hesitant. Now he goes to the bench. Now he thinks about going back. Now he's headed off as Gus Ford moves up ice. Keplinger with a wrist shot held by Hofflin. 1:11 to go. And it's a 6-on-5 advantage for the Carolina Thunderbirds. So Panicek to take the draw. He's out there with Salak, Ford, and Baker drive, and that missed wide. Keplinger down behind the net, Panicek. Up high to Pringle, back to Panicek, across Baker. Down low, Panicek couldn't get the shot away. Lots of bodies in front of Wyatt Hofflin. Federley holding the puck against the wall. 3 Thunderbirds there. Puck is up on the dasher there. Now Federley clears it past Baker at the point, all the way down. Icing waved off. 35 seconds left on the clock. Baker up to Keplinger at the red line. He feeds the lock, but the Thunderbirds are in offsides with 27.3 to go. And the Thunderbirds are furious. Peter Panicek giving an earful to the linesman about that icing no call. And the Thunderbirds faithful will continue the argument against the linesman here in this game. As will head coach Garrett Rutledge. Giving an earful to Kenny Malik, the linesman. Rutledge still with words. Now finally he heads back up to his perch behind the bench, but he's not done talking. Garrett Rutledge getting his money's worth of this conversation. And now Garrett Rutledge has been thrown out of this game, and he'll chat with the linesman all the way to the locker room. Thunderbirds fans applauding their coach as he heads to the locker room, becoming, I believe, the 4th Thunderbird ejected between players and coaches. Rutledge still not off the ice. And now he'll head off, still with more words for the referees. Garrett Rutledge getting his money's worth. And if this was baseball, I think Garrett Rutledge would have taken first base with him. Nothing he can steal on the hockey ice, though. Face-off will come just outside the Prowlers zone. 27.3 seconds left on the clock. Panicek and Graham set to draw. Graham out there with Foley, Devaney, Federley, and Johnson. Panicek, Salak, Keplinger, Baker, Ford, and Pringle, the 6 for the Thunderbirds, who have an empty net. 18 seconds ago, here's Panicek. Cycles down to Salak. Goes through Pringle, now Keplinger. Works up high, Baker. Across, Panicek couldn't pull the trigger. Johnson sliding all the way down. He hits the empty net. That's the way to get the monkey off your back if you're Alex Johnson. He finally notches his first goal of the season. And it's the icing on the cake for the Prowlers with 3.2 seconds to go in the third. After 20 goals last year, for Alex Johnson, that tied an FPHL record for a defenseman. He finally gets goal number 1 in game number 14. He had the distinction of being the player in the FPHL with the most shots on goal without a goal. He came into this game with 29. And it looks like they're not even going to play this final 3 seconds as the Prowlers defeat the Carolina Thunderbirds by a wild final of 7-5 here in Winston-Salem. And they celebrate. Prowlers have won 2 straight games, and with the victory, they climb over top of the Thunderbirds in the Continental Division standings. Before we get into our post-game show, we'll remind you one more time to tune into our next broadcast tomorrow when these two teams meet again. Puck drop scheduled for 6:05, and the pregame show starts at 5:50 right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Well, sit down and buckle up as we get set to go through this box score here. This was an absolutely wild game. It was a pretty regular first period as the Prowlers and the Thunderbirds traded goals. Blake Peavy got the scoring started, and more delays in this game. It was Teddy Bear toss night as Blake Peavy's goal set the Teddy Bears off. All the fans tossing bears on and stuffed animals onto the ice for a good cause. Liam Freeborn got his first goal in the FPHL. That tied things up for the Prowlers. That's how we went into the first intermission. And then things got good. Jacob Schnapp scored a power play goal to restore the Carolina lead. 5:45 into the second frame. And then Evan Foley tied things back up less than 5 minutes later. That made it a 2-all game just past the midway point of the period. Sam Merritt added to it with a nice tap in on the back post with the assist to Vinny DeCumbus and Tucker Scantleberry. That gave the Prowlers their first lead of the night. Dan Chartrand and Tucker Firth got into a little bit of a scuffle in front of the Thunderbirds cage. They both went off 2 minutes for roughing. And that was child's play versus what was to come. But first, Dalton Jay and Tucker Scantleberry got a couple of goals to increase the Prowlers' lead to 3. It was a 5-2 game with just over a minute to go in the second period, and then chaos ensued to the side of the Prowlers' net as Wyatt Hofflin covered a puck, and Peter Panicek got in there to try and dislodge it. Sam Williams didn't like that. They both went off. Panicek got a slashing minor. Williams for cross-checking. Then Jacob Schnapp and Joe Kennedy both got involved as well for Carolina. Cross-checking each for them. That sent the Prowlers on a power play, and that's when Tucker Scantleberry scored his power play goal. And then late in that period, Josh Keplinger threw a hit on Liam Freeborn, and they both started slashing each other. And they both went off 2 minutes for slashing each. And at the end of that period, an unsportsmanlike conduct on the bench for the Carolina Thunderbirds. That put the Prowlers on the power play to start the third period. Thunderbirds would kill that off and then get 2 power play goals of their own on penalties from Alex Johnson and Scantleberry going to the box for his third time. Gus Ford and Lucas Rowe, the goal scorers. That brought the Thunderbirds within 1 with lots of time to go in the third period, but about a minute and a half later, Vinny DeCumbus scored his second goal of the season from a pass from Tucker Scantleberry on a 2-on-1. And that restored the 2-goal lead for the Prowlers. And then a little while after that, everything hit the fan. Viktor Grebenikov was taken down by Liam Freeborn, looking for a shorthanded opportunity. He went into the boards hard. He was a bit slow to get up, was tended to by the training staff, and then on his way back to the bench, as Freeborn was heading to the box 2 minutes before tripping, he got involved with somebody on the Prowlers bench. He ended up with a fighting major. Brian Parsons, who was on the bench at the time, ended up with a fighting major. Jacob Schnapp ended up with a fighting major. He wasn't even on the ice. He left the Thunderbirds bench to come join the fray. He got a fighting major and a game misconduct for leaving the players' bench. Lucas Rowe got involved. He got a game misconduct for leaving the players' bench. And Grebenikov got a game misconduct as the aggressor. So 3 Thunderbirds thrown out in that sequence. Cody Oakes also left the ice. We didn't see him at all for the rest of the game. So the Prowlers were down 1 player. Thunderbirds down 4 players for the rest of the game, as Brian Parsons was sent off the ice for an instigator penalty. And a little while after that, Scantleberry got a slashing penalty, and that allowed Gus Ford to get the Thunderbirds back within 1 again with a power play goal. But that's as far as they would get. Alex Johnson got his first goal of the season, hitting the empty netter with 3 seconds left. We also had head coach Garrett Rutledge for Carolina get ejected in the final minute of that game, arguing an icing no call. Whew, take a deep breath, Prowlers fans, as that is how it happened. What a game here from Carolina, and they'll do it all again tomorrow at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. But for me, thank you so much for watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey, and we'll see you back here tomorrow night on the Prowlers YouTube channel.